This is a few problems on evaluating expressions, and I'm actually going to use the calculator's memory to show you how you don't have to type these values everywhere you see an X and a Y. You can just put these values into memory. And then we'll also show you where the absolute value sign is, that you can do those things too. So let's go ahead and do this first one. This one says evaluate this expression right here, negative 2x plus 3 when x equals 2, then when x equals negative 2, then when x equals negative 4. Now you could do it by just typing in negative 2 and then put parentheses around the number you're typing in, which is the first one would be 2, and then continue on plus 3 and hit execute, and there's your answer for when x equals 2, you get negative 1. And you could even, instead of retyping it again, and when x equals negative 2, retyping it something like this, negative 2 parentheses negative 2, then plus 3 to get the answer, which I just did. You could always arrow up. Watch, if you arrow up, let me hit all clear, then arrow up. There we go. That takes you to your last thing that you typed in. If you arrow up again, it takes you to your previous thing. So as long as you don't turn off the calculator, you have access to these things. And then what you can do is arrow to the left and just delete the number that you have typed in, like I did. I hit delete, and then type in the next number, like let's type in negative 4, and hit execute. And there is what that expression is equal to when it's negative 4. But here's the thing that I really want to show you is that you can use the memory to type these values in. So same problem, and I'm going to go ahead and say let x equal negative 2 right off the bat. And the way you do that is here is your x key. You can use this letter here for x, or you can use any letter you want because the entire alphabet is in red here. So if you wanted to use y, you can see down here at the subtraction sign above that in red is the Y key. But the X key is very easy to get to, so I'm going to use that. And I'm going to say put 2 in for X. So I have to actually say 2 first, in for X, or substitute in is this arrow key right here. Substitute that 2 in for X. So I just hit execute to lock that in. And now I actually type this expression in with the X key. So I type in negative 2x plus 3. Hit execute, and now it gives you negative 1. Because when you put 2 in for x in this, 2 times negative 2 is negative 4, plus 3 is negative 1. And now, if I want to put in the next value for x, like negative 2, I would say negative 2 in for, see, clicking that arrow key there above the on button, in for x. Hit execute, and that puts the negative 2 in for x. And what you can do is arrow back up. Let me hit all clear, and you can arrow back up to the expression right here and hit execute. And now you get 7. How? Because when negative 2 goes in for x, negative 2 times negative 2 is 4, plus 3 is 7. So it's not too bad to do it that way. It's an idea you just have to get used to. Like I'll do the next one. When x is negative 4, what is this expression? So I have to say negative 4 in for x, negative 4 in for x, and hit execute to lock that in. Now hit all clear and arrow up till you get to that expression and hit execute, and you get your answer. And that's the correct answer, 11. Now I'm not sure how this works in the math if you have your calculator set up to be in the math menu. So let me go to Shift Setup, and I'll change it from linear to math, and let's see how well this works now. So if I put that expression in, well, let's go ahead and say let's put negative 4 in for x. I don't think that expression is there, so I think it could be a bit of a hassle doing this if you're in the math area. So if I say negative 4 in for x and hit execute, that's fine. Now typing in that expression, negative 2x plus 3, if I hit execute, yeah, I get the answer. But if I would try to put something else in for x, let's try negative 2 in for x. Negative 2 in for x, and hit execute. That's the negative 2 in for x. but I don't think I can get up to that expression again. So if I hit all clear, it doesn't really clear it, but it does arrow up. So I think we might be okay. Then if I just hit execute, it did it. So you can be in the math menu and it's fine. I'll do it one more time. Let's put -4 in for x. So -4 n for x, lock it in. Let's see if I can arrow up without hitting all clear. Yeah, I can. So you just arrow up until you get to that expression. There it is. Hit execute and you get 11. So I think the math menu is the better area to be in to do this stuff because it's easier to arrow up and see where you're going to. Plus it shows the expressions really good. So if you haven't done it yet, switch your calculator over to the math menu, a math display, by doing Shift, Setup, and changing this input here from line to math. Line means like a linear, straight across type of thing, and math is going to show things a neater format. So let's go ahead and do this real messy one here. This is a fractional expression here with x's and y's. So I'm going to hit the fraction key. Then I don't have to worry about putting parentheses around the top or bottom. And I'm also going to be substituting these values in for x and y, but I'm going to do that using the arrow key here, the substitution arrow key. So I'm just going to type these in with x's and y's. So starting this off, I have the fraction. I'm going to type in -2 x squared, or let's do x squared. See, just typing that in, -2 x squared, then -3y minus 3. Now the y is right down here in red, so do alpha minus sign to get the y. Then let's arrow down to the bottom here in the denominator and type this in. So that's -x squared plus 2x. Now to get the y, again, do your alpha subtraction sign because there's your minus sign. And then minus y, so I need alpha minus sign again to get the y squared. So that's that expression typed in. Now, if I hit execute, it's going to use the values for x, the last value I had for x, which is -4. And since I don't have anything in for y, it uses 0 for y. So when I hit execute, I'm not going to get the answer I want yet. But now I have to put these values in for x and y. So I'm going to say -2 in for x, -2, right here, that arrow key, -2 in for x, lock that in, hit execute, and then -3 in for y. So -3 in for y, alpha y, right there. Hit execute, lock that in. Now we arrow up till we get to our expression. Right there, and we won't get 7/5 this time because it's going to put -2 in for x and -3 in for y. And yeah, -3 in for y. So what do we get? Hit execute, and you get right here, -1 was the answer to that problem. You can barely see it. We can arrow up again to see it, but there it is. You get -1. And you could double check that and put in -2 in for x and -3 in for y and work out this hunk of stuff. But I feel pretty confident that you will get -1 if you work that out. So that's a nice way to do it. And you see, if you need to put in another expression, like a different thing in for x and y, I might even be able to do that here. Let's say you want to put in -4 for x. And maybe you want to leave y the same, or you want to put something else. So let's lock that in, hit execute. Let me move this over a little bit. And let's put a different thing in for y. Let's put 2 in for y. So 2 in for alpha y right here. Then here, there's your subtraction sign. Hit execute. That locked them in. Now I have to go up to that expression. Right there. Hit execute. And I can't see the result of that expression, so I have to arrow up to see it. And that is right there. It is 19/18. And if you want that as a decimal, just hit that F to D button, and there it is as a decimal, 1.055. Let's go down to the next one. This one says to complete this table. Well, when anybody says to complete a table, I tend to like to go to the table menu to do it, but I'll do it right here in the run menu to start off with. So let me go down here to the end and I'll type this in. Now this is an absolute value sign out, and that's my main thing here, is showing you how to type that in. So you don't type in the y equals, you just type in the right hand side, which is 5. Now to get the absolute value, the best way I could find to do that, there might be another way, but it's in the catalog. And the catalog is down here above the number 4. And if there's ever anything you can't find, you can find it in this catalog here. So do Shift 4 to get to the catalog, and it's in alphabetical order. And if we scroll down, you will see ABS, which stands for absolute value. So I'll hit execute, and now that puts that in there with the absolute value sign like I have right here with the bars straight up and down. Now type in your x minus 4 and then arrow to the right, so I can say, so I'm out of the absolute value area, and just say plus 3. Lock that in, and now we can say, let's put 0 in for x. So 0 in for x. Hit execute, and you get and that's 0 in for x. But now we have to evaluate this expression. So go up to the expression and hit execute, and you get 23, and that is the correct answer. If you want to type in another value in for x right here, like 2, so we can do 2 in for x. Hit execute. Remember, that just locks the 2 in. Go up to your expression and hit execute, and you get 13. And you just do that for each one of these. Now the easier way to do this particular problem here, in fact the easier way to do this one up here at the top too, is to go to the table menu. The one that you can't use the table menu for is when you have two variables mixed in together and you're evaluating it. That I would do in this run menu. But this bottom one here, I'll go to the table menu. So let's arrow down and go to the right to the table menu, and we'll type this in. So it'll be 5, and then we'll go to the and you know, we might be able to get to absolute value through options. Let's see. If we do options, the number, there's ABS right here. So you can go get to it through the options button, or you can get to it through the catalog button. So absolute value, now put this in parentheses, the x minus 4, x minus 4. And in the table menu and graph menu, you have to use the x key. And then plus 3. It can only handle one letter, and that letter has to be x. So then plus 3. Lock that in, and let's go ahead and table it. And you see it doesn't have 0 in there, but you could just type in 0 for x right now. And you get 23 like we had before. And at 2 you get 13, at 4 you get 3, and you can scroll down for a ways, but you can just type in individual values here, like what do you get when you put in 6 for x, you get 13, and what do you get when you put in 8 for x, you get 23. Now if you want to see just these values, 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, you can set the table. So let me exit this 1 second and set, and I'll start at 0, and I'll end the table, hit execute. I'll end the table at 8, hit execute, and this is your step. These are going up by 2s, so I'll put in 2 for the step. Hit execute again, and table it right here. And there you go. At 0 it's 23, 2 it's 13, 4 it's 3, and 6 it's 13. And you can actually graph these right here, these points. And I don't know if you can see them real well. Let's do a zoom. I think there's a zoom auto that should show you the points. And you can see those points just barely right there. But what you can do is also graph it connected right here. And there's those points connected. And it makes a V shape going up. And that's actually what this is. And in fact, if you zoom out a little bit, you might be able to see that vertex point. So let's zoom out. And so right there's that vertex point. And maybe we can get the minimum of this. I don't know. Let's check. Gsolve. Well, there's nothing under Gsolve. Trace. We might be able to trace it around here a little bit. So if I hold that arrow key, you can see right here 4, 3 looks to be the bottom point of that V shape. And that actually is the vertex point on this thing. So I'll stop this